Well, hi everybody. You may recall that last year I attempted to go from Roanoke, Virginia down to Springer Mountain and had a mishap 9 miles north of Damascus. Well, this year I went back and going northbound, I actually completed that segment. So this video is going to be the highlights of that. Stay tuned. So this is the first in a three-part series. This will be the highlights of the trip. In the second part, I'll talk about trail life. And in the third part, I'll talk about hostels. But just as a recap, here's the Appalachian Trail. The red sections are the sections that I hadn't hiked, and the green sections what I have completed. So this year, I completed that 480-mile red section down south, being highlighted here. So the only part I've got still to do is the section up north, 110 miles from Munson, Maine to what I've been calling Mount Doom, which is Mount Katahdin. So let's go out to the trail and see those highlights.
Well, I'm at the summit of Springer Mountain, and hiker Legion, who was the caretaker at Hiker's Welcome in New Hampshire, told me it's just nothing in the middle of the woods. That's the terminus. It's not like, Katahdin where you actually do something, get up there. So I had hoped to make it this far today, and surprisingly, I did. So I got another 2/10 of a mile to the shelter. Finally, after nearly 3 whole days of nothing but green tunnel with an occasional view, at least up here, I think this is called Blood Mountain. And this is right around, I just passed the highest point of the trail in Georgia. We're up over 4,000 feet. Okay, one of the finer views in Georgia. This is looking southeast from the trail. Well, I've been waiting for a section of trail to be a little different than the green tunnel, and it looks like I finally have it. Beautiful view of the mountains of North Carolina. Well, I'm about halfway up this steep ascent. I jinxed myself because I said, well, fortunately it's good weather. I don't need a bad weather bypass. Well, get halfway up and it starts to rain on me. Very steep, this little section, but turns out it's only 2/10 of a mile. All in all, I think I got worked up over nothing. It was very steep. 400-foot climb and 2/10 of a mile, but so by steepness standards, it was steep, but by what I'm used to, I expected that to be a lot harder, especially the way everybody was talking about it. A disappointment. After going up 47 or something steps, we come to this trapdoor, and it is shut, and I push down it. It does not open. So they have closed the tower, which is too bad. But it makes my decision easier because that means I have to get to the next shelter. I believe it probably came along that ridge there. Very interesting. So, well, sorry folks, disappointment. I'm going to go back down. Do get a nice view even from this level. Just can't get up to the top level into the little house up there. Thanks to people who vandalize stuff like this so that the rest of us can enjoy it. I wonder if they have restrictions against camping here. Oh man, another ascent. Okay, here's the view. I imagine from up top it's slightly better. We have some of the local wildlife, very dangerous. I had a mouse in my shelter last night trying to eat my trash. And I guess the trail goes down there next.
Pretty cool little spot. Yeah. Camp up here.
Yeah, I was just thinking that myself. They probably don't allow it, but
Oh, we won't stop you. I won't stop you.
Some ranger come by and give me a ticket or a fine or something. Though if they don't have a sign posted saying you can't. I don't think bears probably come up these stairs. I don't know. Well, I just climbed a long one and ends up on top of another tower. Out in the sun. I do want to dry my shirt. It is rancid. Fortunately, I have a clean one to get into, but I'm hoping to stay at a hostel or at the outfitter center if they have anything available, but on a weekend they might not. But this, boy, there's a few signs of civilization. There's a power line down there. There seems to be some building out there. A few scattered here and there. But in general, this is deep in the wilderness. Okay, now I'm coming up to the Fontana Dam, which I'm told is the largest dam east of the Mississippi River. You can see up ahead there's construction and you can't drive over it anymore, at least for the moment. But the trail goes right along there, so I have to walk along it. So I'm gonna be out in the sun. I've made the commitment. I'm just in the Smoky Mountain National Park. And there's only camping at established campsites. So once you decide, oh, there's the visitor center. I could go down there and visit the visitor center, I guess. But once you decide that you're going to go to the next site, you have to make it because you can't camp at large. You get fined if you got caught, you know, stealth camping in the woods. Plus, you don't want to deal with the bears. At least the campsites have established bear hanging cables. So this is what we're going to do. We've got 6.6 miles to go from the last shelter up to this campsite. That's not a bad afternoon's walk for me. And it gives me maybe 7 or 8 miles for the day of official trail miles. So that's a good half day. It's a break that I need. They weren't kidding when their comments said this was a really sketchy staircase up. My God, half the rails are missing. Maybe I'll try filming on the way down. Boy, these floorboards don't even look good. But this is that fire tower on top of, I don't know, some mountain in the Smokies. You can see the Fontana Dam. Let's see if I can go there without killing myself. Yeah, you can see the Fontana Dam down there. And that must be the Fontana Lake. This would be somewhat of a view on a better day. The sun keeps on threatening to burn off the fog and peeking through, but I don't know. It's not doing it yet. But nicer section for hiking on. Okay, I'm at what's called the Double Spring Gap Shelter site. Asked the ridge runner over there where it was legal to camp, because there were some spots that were just south of here up in kind of a pine area. I didn't know if they were associated with this campsite. I got here relatively late. All the good spots are gone. Though I do have this grassy spot right here he suggested I pitch. So I'm going to pitch my tent right here. It's near the shelter. Got lots of company today. I'm technically at the highest point on the Appalachian Trail. There's a sign behind me. It doesn't say that, but it is. It starts to go down from here. The Clingman's Dome Trail is out here. It's not very far, so we're going to go up Clingman's Dome next. Okay, I'm at the foot of the tower. A lot of people here today, and let's take a walk up to the top. Okay, we're going to flip around. Go. And take all this. Approach to the top. And this is actually the 200-mile point, exactly on the trail. Well, down there at the trail, which is pretty cool. Means I've come about 209 miles. because of the approach trail. And here is the view. A lot of people enjoying it. It's great to see. So that's it. I'm at the top. This is interesting. I've never seen such a thing. This is a hog fence. Keeps the, I guess there's wild hogs in this area. I haven't seen any. But keeps them out of, this is a, apparently an area with some endangered tree species. So, and the hogs damage them. So, okay, I've taken a slight side trail off the Appalachian Trail to a place called Charlie's Bunyan. I guess that's it up there. Buddy, here's a hiker who camped next to me yesterday. So I guess this is it. So this is Charlie's Bunyan, huh? Hi. Oh, I don't know if I want to climb up that. Well, this may seem uninteresting, but I've never seen this before. We're on a little patch of trail, it drops off sharply that way. It drops off sharply that way. It's like I'm walking on a knife's edge, didn't even realize it. That is so weird to see it drop off so sharply in both directions. In a way, it's just the same another view, but it just shows you the remoteness of where I'm hiking. I'm sure it's much more remote out west, but at least in this direction, can't see anything in the other direction. It's all trees blocking the way, but yeah, this is out here. Just a quick educational thing here. This wooden trunk that's laying across the trail like that, that's not an accident. It's not meant to be a step. It's called a water bar. As water comes rushing down this trail in torrential rains, this prevents some erosion by directing it off that way. Over here you'll see a pink flag. Written on that is probably says replace water bar. So they're doing some trail maintenance and they're adding water bars and replacing them. So now you know that's a water bar. Let's get up there and see a panorama of the, oh, this is great. You know, like if it rained, I would stay up there for a little while. There's a, looks like a dungeon down there. I don't know what that's all about. Place to hunker down if the rain gets real bad. But maybe got steps for us. Whoa! And that one moved. I did not like that. Howdy. Roz, right? Yeah. Okay, here's our last view of the Smokies. Another hiker was at the same camp as me last night. Something interesting down there. Kind of old and dilapidated. But if it were raining right now, it'd be fine. So here's like the third stream like this that I've come across in the past 20 minutes. Water hasn't been too bad on this trip, though there have been some dry spots. But throughout the Smokies, mostly you didn't get streams like this. You got springs associated with the campsites. And of course, you had to stay at official campsites. This is really nice. I would love to have this as a water source, camping one night. I don't need any water right now. And this is interesting. There's some kind of, I don't know, weather observation thing up here. I don't know what it is. I'll come up here and take a look-see. Wow. Coming around this corner, you'll see it. I don't know what the hey this is. Probably a sign that says keep out. Yeah, it's a big warning sign right there. Warning. This facility is used in FAA air traffic control. Loss of human life may result from service interruption, so we don't want to go anywhere near this other than to take a picture of it. That is neat. So that's the first climb of the day. Just ran into a couple other hikers for the first time hiking my way. Stopped and talked for a while. Some field down there that they've been mowing or something. They're trying to preserve the balds. I remember reading Bill Bryson's book, and he wasn't even, as I recall, they weren't even sure how the balds got here. But this is, like I just told them, this would be the highlight of today's hike, or maybe the whole trip so far if this were a nicer day. You know, it's hiking across the bald, it's just a nice feeling. You know, maybe our ancestors, because they were used to walking along the edges of the savannas and stuff, it seems natural to us, more natural than hiking in the deep woods. So, see, more sunlight over there. It's just not going to come here, I guess. This is the last look at Max Patch. The bald there. I was hoping that that sunlight that's over there, you know, the whatever hole in the clouds would blow over this way, but it doesn't seem like it's going in that direction. The clouds seem to be going the other way. Okay, hiking with Meatball. We just got to the Spring Mountain Shelter. You see the signs all over the place. We cannot camp here. We wouldn't anyway, because today we're slack packing anyway. But this is a section of trail we wanted to get over because you can't camp here, so we slack packed over it. A lot of bear problems here. Signs everywhere. Basically, don't camp here. Here is a tower. This is off trail by about 250 yards. But they say it's well worth coming here. You know, around this part of the trail, you climb up these mountains and they're usually wooded at the top. You don't get a view or anything. So I figured I'd come up to this fire tower. I'm not going to video the climb to the top. Had to carry my pack with me because this is a high bear population area, and the bears will steal your pack just as soon as look at you. And as a matter of fact, camping is restricted, so I had to get through this area without camping, so a slack pack was the best way. So we'll see you at the top. Interesting, they have video surveillance. I don't see where it is, but must be somewhere. So nice view of the mountains. I'm going to do a panorama, go around it, and then I'm going to stop the film and I'm going to enjoy the view for myself. So here we are. And I'm going to go in there. Let's look around, maybe sit down, I don't know. Yeah, I checked the GPS and this is kind of nice. Oh, there's a mark there anyway. Right there. At least for a quarter mile or so, we do follow this nice country road. So that's kind of a nice break. A kind of a nasty, stagnant brown pond. There's a bench here for sitting on, I guess, and enjoying the view. There's some activity under the surface there. I suspect it's trout or something. I don't know. But this is actually artificial because you can see over here, there's a wall that created this pond, and there's water coming over it. It's actually coming through down there. Like, ew, I wouldn't want to drink this water. Hi, little turtle. Yeah, he's just looking at me, wondering what the hey I'm up to. So, that's him. It's hard to see what's going on out there, but we've got rafters, rubber rafts, or inner tubes, or whatever, floating down the river, having a good time. I'm at a decision point. There's the exposed ridgeline trail, and there's the bad weather trail. Some older hikers recommended taking the bad weather bypass trail, and they said this was tough hiking, but they themselves didn't look as experience. You really can't tell from somebody else's experience. The weather is not particularly bad. It's not like I'm going to be whipped up by thunderstorms and stuff, though it may rain today. The sun is still peeking through at places. So because seem to have gotten my trail legs issued to me, and I'm putting on pretty fast miles, even though it doesn't feel fast. Whenever I check my progress, I'm always surprised. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this trail, and I'll, which is the main Appalachian Trail, so no blame to me for that. And when I get up on the Bear Ridge, I'll shoot some pictures and videos there. Well, I'm on this exposed ridge, and sure enough, it is sprinkling a little. But you can see that way. There's the rain clouds. They're blowing by. So, yeah, that's ominous. But they're slowly moving by, and it's like sunny down in the valley there. So I don't know if it'll be like that when I get to the shelter. But anyways, yeah, this is the ridge those guys told me to avoid, because one of them almost fell off it. Hey, that's the beauty of the Appalachian Trail. I'm glad I didn't miss this, Like I said, if it was a thunderstorm, absolutely. I would not want to be up here because it is exposed. But a little sprinkle, and I haven't heard any thunder at all. So, maybe I just jinxed myself. So here we are. It was actually quite a ways from that bypass junction, but you take the bypass and you don't know what you missed. So it is raining now. I'm at the moment not going to bother with rain gear because I don't believe I'll be up here long. And I don't believe it'll rain for long. But this is the type of hiking that I got right now. And Howard's Rock, in honor of Howard McDonald. I don't know if you can read the sign. I can read it. It's in that rock. Well, now I'm at the other end of the bypass, where the bypass rejoins the Appalachian Trail. Everybody hikes their own hike. Oh, look at this. You can see that on the ground there. Let's see if I can do this. You can see that 300 there. That's saying this is 300 mile mark. So that means I've come about 310 miles. Everybody hikes their own hike, but that ridge that I just went over, that's Appalachian Trail. That's a challenge. These gentlemen, older guys who were out hiking, they made it sound like, oh man, this was horrible. If they had realized, they would have taken a bypass. Well, yeah, and you can walk the roads and, parallel to the Appalachian Trail, I suppose. If you're out here on the trail, that was a challenge. I'm not saying it was easy, but it's like you gotta embrace the challenge. That's the way I do it. That was fun. I had to loosen my pole, I had to actually get my hands out of the straps on the poles for safety reasons. Like my son Craig has said, sometimes the poles become a liability. You do have to be careful with them because if you were to fall and it's hooked around your wrist, you could either hurt yourself or at the very least break the pole. That has happened to me, and the poles came apart. Fortunately, they just came apart at the, in the way they're made to come apart. Didn't break, and I just had to reassemble them. But yeah, it was a nice little ridge. And by the way, the sun did come out. And there were some nice views up there. And I certainly, if it had been, thunder and lightning, absolutely, you take the bad weather bypass for safety reasons. But I wouldn't say to take the bypass just because you don't want the challenge. That's what the trail is about. It's a challenge. Well, I'm right now on a little tiny side trail going up to something called Big Butte. And I'm not being funny when I say that. It is literally not Big Butte, B-U-T-T-E, but Big Butte, B-U-T-T. So we're going to go up here. I usually don't take these side trails, but this one is so short. And, oh boy, trying to climb without my poles because I'm holding the camera. I just want to get up here and see the view that they're talking about. It's a very short side trail, and I think this is probably the top. Yeah, there's the view. I can see some mountains, but they're not in the habit of clearing things like this. They just let things go naturally. And just in case people didn't believe me that it really is Big Butt, here is the trail that would have avoided that, the Big Butt bypass. I don't know, it sounds like a weight loss operation or something. Big Butt by, I don't know. I've come across a couple memorials out here today. This is known as the Shelton Graves. David Shelton, and can't make out the name on this. W. All I see is the W Shelton. And they were apparently Union soldiers down here visiting a family. And of course, this was in the Confederacy. And they were killed for their efforts to visit their family. Another memorial plaque, I took a picture of it, but I didn't take a video. It was of a hiker who died at age 83 in 1987 while hiking. I think the last name was Bissett, not sure. All I can say is to him, you know, way to go. And I don't mean that facetiously. You know, doing what you love. And, you know, he lived a full life. If he was 83, you know, my favorite aunt just died last year. She was 100. But, you know, he probably died of a heart attack out on the trail is my guess. And that's got to be better than lying in a hospital bed just waiting to flatline. Well, this is a few feet from where I camped last night. The highest peak there, that's just kind of got the cloud right at touching it, or it looks like it's touching it. It's actually behind it and above it. That's the hard climb today. That's a little bit less than 5 miles away. I'll be going up there. And after that, I've got another 11 miles to the shelter that I want to get to. This reminds me of Grayson Highlands in Virginia. Except there's no wild ponies here. Group way down there on, I don't know if that's the AT or not. People coming up here. This is a popular spot, especially on a Sunday afternoon. Who can blame people for wanting to come up here and enjoy this? You know, in a way it's sad that don't get to linger longer. I would love to linger up here. Actually, I probably should. Now that I think of it, I am due to eat a snack bar, so I'm gonna go back to the top and do that. You know, not worried about the mileage today. I'm only doing 16 miles. I think from here it's much easier than it's been. There's a saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. As most of you know, I did get second-degree sunburns from being above tree line too long in the presidential range. This is nowhere near as much, but where those people are coming down the trail, the AT goes up there, so I decided it was prudent to stop and put sunblock on my legs. I dropped the back flap on my hat to protect my neck, and now I'm going on. Not too far from Big Bald, which is up there. Boy, it's just so nice, places like this. You know, you hike hundreds of miles, and once in a while, finally you say, hey, maybe it was worth it after all. So you can see that bridge down there. That's where I'm headed. It started to rain. It is sprinkling on me. Not enough that I need to put on a raincoat. If you look closely, you can see some rafters or canoeists down on the river there. I think they passed out of sight now. But I'm trying to get to the hostel down there. Make today a Nero day. It's been sunny all day, even though they were predicting rain. and now I get the clouds. But that's okay, it's really pretty. Look down in the valley there. Look back towards over what I've been hiking over for the past 5 weeks. Well, I'm on my 3rd or 4th bald crossing today. This would have been probably the most enjoyable leg of the entire, day of the entire trip if it had been nice weather. But going over those other 2 balds, I didn't even take my camera out. It was raining. The trail was literally a stream. Balds are great if it's sunny, get nice views. If it's raining, you're fully exposed. You get the wind, you get the rain. I'm warm enough now just because of the exertion of coming up this hill. But as you can see, no view. But this would be beautiful on a nice day. You're probably seeing here how windswept this bald is. Don't know if I'm at the top because I can't see very far. Every time I think I'm at the top, I find another climb. But this seems pretty high. I did see a deer, but it disappeared in the fog before I could get it. Earlier today on the trail, a couple deers, one of them I believe a fawn, so it was a doe and a fawn. They saw me coming and took off. But yeah, wow, what a day. As you can see, I made it to the top of Pump Mountain. Just saw another hiker going the other way. He was actually hiking in short sleeves and shorts. That's, kind of legit. I was thinking of doing that, but I just, I don't know. The rain suit, I think, kept my heat in. Now I gotta figure out where the hell the trail goes because it's hard for me to mark it up here. And does it go this way? It looks like it goes this way, yeah. Well, this shows what a difference a day can make. I seem to be on a bald, which I didn't realize I was coming to. It's a little cemetery. I don't know if it's historic or not. The gravestones actually, a lot of them look pretty new. We got a Touchdown Jesus here. I ran into a young hiker about a mile back, and he said, "Don't miss Jones's Falls." And yet, it really is spectacular. Interesting little section here. Rock wall on each side. Kind of coming through a, I don't want to call it a tunnel because there's nothing covered overhead, but yeah, kind of a channel through the woods. Whoa, no rail on that side and kids coming by. This reminds me a little bit of Sable Chasm in New York. Oh, cars. Some runners coming by. Interesting, there's a blue blaze there. And it says to the shelter. So I guess the trail goes down here to Laurel Falls. It's not really well marked. I hate it when this happens, but fortunately my GPS is showing me it's down this way. And in fact, there's another trail to the shelter which is much shorter. This actually goes, I guess, above everything. I don't know. Well, I just took this very treacherous climb down. Very dangerous, tougher going down. I mean, it would have been tough to go up, obviously, but it would be safer. Trail goes off this way, but here we have, I guess this is called Laurel Falls, and it's about 11:30. The flat space down there, so I'm going to enjoy the scenery and sit and have lunch. This is certainly not the highest falls that I've seen. I guess there's different ways to measure falls. It's height, it's width. It's pretty wide. It's almost as wide as it is high. And maybe just the volume of water that comes over. Got to go up around these rocks, and maybe you can see the 2 marks out there on those rocks. Apparently I'm going to be walking along a cliff's edge for a while. This should be interesting. The things we do in the name of our videos, because I gotta be careful here. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Boy, this is unique to the trail. Never seen it like that. There's the mark I was talking about. There's another mark right there. Okay. As much as I'd love to, I think prudence may dictate. Let's see if I can get over this spot here. I was going to say, prudence may have dictated that I, yikes, stow the camera to get through this part. So, just a very interesting, difficult stretch. I don't know if you can hear them. People out on a fishing expedition out here on Lake Watuga. If I pronounced it right. Playing some country music. Enjoying the day. Well, I'm in the vicinity of another one of those Tennessee Valley Authority water control things, you know, dams. And I guess that was a part of the program to get us out of the depression, was establishing that, if I remember right. Well, I'm sitting here on a ridge. I'm about 2.5 days out of Damascus, so hike's coming to an end. Just thinking about all the support I got from people, of course from Darlene. Got a call from Jim Pasquini yesterday. I happened to be looking at my phone when it came in, which was a good thing because the ringer was off. There's Miss Deer, Mrs. Deer, making big noises out there. Thought it might have been a bear. Fortunately, it's not. Nice little break here, going through some pastures. First time I've seen that in this section of the trail. We have gone over balds and stuff. I don't recall going through any actual pastures. In Virginia last year, there were definitely cases I came across cows and baby cows and everything else. But yeah, nice little break. Fortunately, I'm only going to be out in the sun for half a mile, about 15 minutes, so I don't need to break out the sunblock. But if this were to continue on for a long time, I definitely would. So we're kind of in the foothills here. Don't know what that barn structure is up there. It has an AT symbol on the side. I know there's one around here that's for emergency use only. They abandoned it as a shelter. I don't think that's it. I think it's a few more miles down. But I expect the rest of this hike to be very much like Southern Virginia. Kind of reminds me of Burke's Garden, this pasture land. Burke's Garden, as you recall, from last year, was a giant sinkhole. Only one way to get into that whole valley. As you can see, I'm sitting on this bench. Benches are made for sitting on, so I take a break. Well, friends, it was about 51 weeks ago. I sat at this exact spot. I'm not going to sit now because it's been raining. Don't want to get my butt wet. And talked about why I was getting off the trail. I dislocated a shoulder 9 miles north of Damascus. Well, this time, I guess you'd say I completed my AT section, because now I've connected sections that I hadn't done with a section I have done. Though my hike's not over, I still got 3.5 miles to get to Damascus. But it's been a great trip. There's been tough times. 4 weeks of good weather followed by a week of almost constant rain. So here I am. I've done now section hike 2,083 some odd miles of the Appalachian Trail, and I've just got 100-mile wilderness in Mount Katahdin to go. Well, I'm walking down to train depot again at Roanoke. This is my 4th time dealing with this, 3rd time leaving from Roanoke early in the morning.
So that's what I've got for highlights from this trip. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you engage me for just another 3 or 4 minutes, stick around and look at this photo montage that I also put together from the trip. Thanks for listening.